get,
Forgot again.
the Kindle people are given access through their facility. So that works for them, but I don't know if there's an interest in, seeing some of the other streaming options out there. Don said yes. Joe, are you happy with what you have, or would you be curious?
I stream our church services on Sunday.
Okay,
I also use Netflix.
oh,
That's
you
as
do have Netflix, okay,
that's as far as I've gone.
okay. And you know, for some people, they what they have works and they're satisfied. Other people want to cut the cost.
Yeah, I was thinking about it.
Cut
I'd
the
like to
cost,
see
so
it.
we could show some more options for doing that.
I got direct TV and you're getting out of hand.
And so that may be what we'll spend some time on next month, unless some others have something they'd like to hear about. So today we're going to look at, should I have a landline? Now, how many people still have a landline?
I do.
Vicky does,
Yeah.
and Vera does. They probably, do they have,
And
does,
have
don't have a
you do, Joe?
automatic phone?
I'm just cell phone.
Oh, you're just cell phone, so you do have options there. And Don has just cell phone.
Right,
Not by choice though.
No,
right?
not by choice.
Got it.
They came and dug up his yard and I can't figure out how to reconnect him, so. He's been experiencing cell phone only. So we'll, but when we're done, we'll get your impressions on how it, how life without landline it has been for you. I thought we would start with an introduction to the topic of, home phones, right there on our list of, resources. And Ron Brown from Tech for Seniors, that we use a lot of times, has an overview on the subject to that. I thought we'd watch and then see what discussion we have.
minutes,
Learn about.
Nah,
Minutes.
we don't want to do minutes.
okay,
No.
Yes,
We'll do
thank you,
it.
do we want to accept the minutes of the last meeting as they appeared in the newsletter?
Yes,
Pam says, makes a motion,
I do.
and we have a second from
Sure,
Vicky.
Nikki.
All in
thank
favor?
you.
Okay, we got it.
all right.
Thank you for reminding me. Okay, now we're going to watch our introduction to,
Well, almost. Before we do that.
Oh, go ahead.
The PDF document is, oops, wrong one. Right here. Has some,
Oh,
information on different devices and services, and they have links to different websites and things like that, so.
yes, we're gonna be talking about some of these, and here's a
Right.
good resource Mickey has accumulated for
So
us.
you can click on that PDF.
Right here where it
Get
says PDF. Yeah.
And this will be the video we're going to watch, so we're gonna start that. If anybody has any issues with not being able to hear it, or if you have a question at the time, I guess we can, let us know, shout out, and we will stop and address the situation.
Senior. The topic today on the special event at Tech for Senior will be, should you have a home phone in 2024? This is episode 211. It is going to be April the 22nd when this is aired, and this is part of our special presentation on the topic. Today, I'm going to lead with what is a LAN or home phone. Now, you all recognize this picture as a phone, and it is connected with this type of cord, which is a twisted paracord with an RJ45 jack on the back. This is a phone wire. We've had these for 40 years. You all know that that plugs in to that phone, which of course it does. What determines what type of phone you have is what the other end is plugged into. And let me explain why that's important. So how are you going to know what this is plugged into, let's look at the side of my house. Well, in this diagram, you can see plain old telephone service or POTS line outlet. You'll see cable outlet, and you'll see a fiber outlet. Well, this could be plugged into any one of those three. Let me explain how that is so different. Now, many of you think just because this is plugged into the wall, into the RJ45 socket, which we've had for 40 years, is that it goes to the telephone company through the old POTS line. But that couldn't be farther from the case. Let me explain how this works. Now, whether you're using cable services or a fiber optic service, the data is transmitted on the telephone pole through fiber optic lines. Now, if you're using cable services, the section between the telephone line and your house is cable, this coaxial cable. If you're using fiber, then the section between the telephone pole and your house is fiber. For the example of cable, we then have to take this device and plug it into cable if we're using a cable home phone. Now, many of you wouldn't know where this is, and it may not be obvious, but when the cable comes into your house, it'll be split before it goes to the modem to your computer. And that split will go to a little box, and that's where you plug your RJ45 that connects to your home, whatever services you've connected through your wiring throughout your home. Now, if you're using a fiber optic connection that I had hooked up recently, it's just a little bit different. They have the connection in my router. And so you plug you'll plug this little cord into your router, and that creates the transmission through the fiber optic connection to the pole. But whether you're using fiber optic or cable, once it gets to the telephone pole, it's all going by fiber optic line. Now, that's not true with the old POTS system. Remember, we talked about that earlier, and that, of course, is going out as a copper wire connection to the telephone pole, and then it's not going fiber optic. It's going by another wire. It's going by copper to an exchange. Now, in most cases, that exchange converts that to a digital signal, and it goes back into fiber. How do we transmit something digitally over the fiber optic cables? And that's called VoIP, Voice over Internet Protocol. So let's look at this diagram. If you have a telephone service or POTS system, of course, it turns into VoIP. If you have cable, it turns into VoIP. If you have fiber, it turns into VoIP. It all ends up as voice over Internet Protocol. Now, the old POTS system will be going away, and the FCC wanted it gone by 2022. I think the telephone companies are dragging their feet on this because they're still making money with DSL. Yes, remember that? We talked about that before. Digital subscriber line, or DSL, is how the telephone companies provide this old antiquated way of getting internet. Well, I think all that will be gone very quickly. So if you do have an old POTS system, you should be listening to the presentation today and looking at your options. So let's look at the options. You're going to hear many of the speakers talking today. They're going to talk about Magic Jack, UMA, Google Fi, and services like that, which are all VoIP, V-O-I-P. And how are these features distinguished from those three items I've talked about, which could still be called a home phone? Well, all those three services that I discussed are tied to a service address. In other words, it is a fixed location for your telephone, not mobile. So they know exactly where you are when you call 911. Other services we're going to talk about today, that's not so clear. I'll be finishing this special with a discussion about that issue. So let's see what the other speakers have to say, and I'll catch up with you for a few final words.
All right, that should be the end of the intro.
Yeah, that should be the intro. Back to our list.
All right. I'm gonna stop the share for a minute, to make sure that I've got. Yeah, I didn't think I. And everybody heard that, the sound on that, right? Sound was okay on that?
Don, did you hear the sound?
Yeah, right. I heard it. It's good.
Okay,
Okay, good.
thank you.
All right, I just want to make sure, because I didn't have the proper settings set for that. All right, so let's see here. We'll go back to the list, and that was the introduction. And which one you want to go to now?
Stuff, I don't know, cell phone.
Well, maybe do I only use a cell phone?
Oh, well, that was the next one.
I know.
That was ready, we just get ready to talk about, so we'll just continue
Yeah,
that.
just continue.
All right, so yes, I got my RJs mixed up. RJ45 is an Ethernet connection. RJ11 is the telephone connection. So, and I put those little captions in there. So for those of you who have been talking on the line, it's on the chat. It is RJ11 is the phone connection. All right, Ray, are you ready to roll?
I'm gonna try, let's see. All right, why I don't have or need a landline phone at home. Now, a quick history lesson. Alexander Graham Bell, remember that name? He's credited with developing the telephone in 1869. Remember the rotary dial being replaced by buttons on what were called touch-tone phones by the 1980s. And then by 2007, there were over 3 billion mobile devices in use globally. And since then, the use of landline phones has steadily decreased. The point here is over time, technology changes the way we function, and we find we no longer need to use things of the past. Now, there are some disadvantages of landline phones. First, what we all know, mobility. Your landline is tied to a specific location. Even cordless phones have a limit to how far you can venture from the base unit. If you change your home address, chances are you'll be getting a new landline phone number that you'll then have to let all your contacts know about. But with a cell phone, you just keep that same number when you move. And the infrastructure that landline phones rely on needs to be maintained and is subject to natural disasters, accidents, and even intentional destruction. Setting up a landline phone requires costs for installation, wiring, other equipment expenses, and the monthly service fee can range from $20 per month and higher. Landlines, for the younger folks, do not offer texting, internet browsing, and app usage. Bottom line, landlines have become obsolete technology, particularly with the younger generation. Now, what about dual ownership, where you have a landline and a cell? Well, there are several reasons for dual ownership, which include landlines offer stability and reliability at home, while cell phones provide flexibility on the move. And providing communication redundancy during emergency situations at home is a good benefit. And then older adults are familiar with landlines and may prefer them for in-house usage, particularly for long conversations. Now, are landlines better in emergency situations? Advances with mobile phone technology, particularly with 911 support for cell phones and online calls, continue to improve. Emergency services can now pinpoint internet calls and trace wireless calls to within about 150 feet of the caller's location. Now, many will say they want a landline for an emergency at home when the cell phones do not work. But what are the odds of both those situations happening at the same time? Now, what are the trends in landline ownership over time? Well, this is according to Copilot. Landlines are rapidly losing their relevance when you consider in 2004, more than 90% of US adults lived in households that had an operational landline phone. But as of now, that number is less than 30%, reflecting the shift towards mobile communications. The trend suggests that landline phones could soon become an endangered species, much like the VCR and other technological relics before them. So here's a recap of my phone situation. When I moved to my current location in 2004, in addition to my cell phone, I had two landlines, one for voice and the other was for the modem connecting my computer to the internet. Within a year, I was on DSL with a local telephone company, and when I dropped that service for a cable modem about 10 years later, I also canceled my home phone service and number. That means for the last 10 years, I've lived with just a cell phone and only one number needed to reach me. There have been no negative consequences for this decision, and on the positive side, I've saved quite a few dollars not having to pay for a landline that I hardly would have used. So, to have a landline or not, the choice is yours. The good news is we have a scenario where we have a choice, and there's no right or wrong answer. Some will decide they have been using a landline phone all their life, and they see no reason to change. Some will decide to have the best of both worlds and use both a cell and a landline. Others will be in my camp, where my cell phone is the modern technology I want to use to stay in touch. That's it, folks. Thank you. The end.
Oh, hey, thank you, Ray. Excellent. All right. Now,
Okay, that's that one.
Okay, yours is.
Just go down the line.
Okay.
Hi, Margie.
Hi, Margie.
Let's see here, is that what we want to do?
Morning to all.
Hi,
Hi,
or maybe it just let them roll as they go.
okay, so we do, well, you had mentioned you didn't,
I know,
all
well,
right, so we're gonna do that, all right.
let's do that after all.
Okay, so we'll just keep on going. Phone and we'll make.
Linking your cell phone to a cordless phone. I'm Bill James, Tech for Seniors.
The different voice.
Yeah.
Several cordless phone systems use Bluetooth wireless-enabled technology that allows cellular calls with all the comforts of a home phone system. The benefits are: no landline is required to make calls using link-to-cell technology. Link-to-cell technology allows pairing hundreds of names and numbers from your cell phone to your cordless phone. Do you need to charge your cell phone in another room? That is not a problem. Calls ring on all handsets, so you can make and receive cellular calls even when your cell phone is in another room in your house, as long as it is within range of Bluetooth. Pairing a cordless phone with link-to-cell technology to your cell phone involves using Bluetooth to connect the two devices. This lets you make and receive cellular calls using your cordless home phone handset. Here's how to do it. Prepare your cell phone. Turn on Bluetooth on your cell phone. Make the connection. You can usually find this option in the settings menu under Bluetooth or Connections. Make sure your phone is visible or discoverable to other Bluetooth devices. This setting is also found in the Bluetooth menu. Prepare your cordless phone by setting it in pairing mode. Locate the Bluetooth or link-to-cell menu on your cordless phone's base station. This is often done by pressing a specific button labeled Bluetooth, or navigating through the menu system displayed on the cordless phone's base or handset. Select the option to add a new Put your cordless phone in pairing mode to connect to a nearby Bluetooth device. It may appear under a generic name like cordless phone, or display a specific model number or brand. Select your cordless phone from the list of available devices on your cell phone. Authorize the pairing. You may need to enter a PIN code to pair the devices. This code can often be found in your cordless phone's user manual. Common codes are 0000 or 1234. Confirm the pairing request on both your cell phone and cordless phone, if prompted. Test your connection. Once paired, make a test call to ensure that the cordless phone can dial out and receive calls using your cell phone's network. You should be able to use your cordless phone to handle cellular calls as if you were using your cell phone directly. Using additional features. If your cordless phone system supports linking multiple cell phones, repeat the pairing process for each device. Explore other features such as text message notification, cell phone book access, or Siri and Google Assistant integration, depending on the capabilities of your cordless phone system. General troubleshooting tips. Make sure both devices are fully charged and close to each other during the pairing process. If you encounter issues, restart both your cell phone and the cordless phone base and try the pairing process again. Check the user manual for your specific cordless phone model for any model-specific instructions or troubleshooting steps. Ensure that your cordless phone base is not too close to other wireless devices that could interfere with the Bluetooth signal. Brands that have link to cell technology. Here are some popular brands and models that include this technology. Panasonic is well known for its range of cordless phones with link to cell technology. Their KXTG series, for example, includes multiple models that offer features like cell phone integration, talking caller ID, and enhanced noise reduction. VTech offers several models with connect to cell technology, which functions similarly to link to cell. These phones can connect with your cell phone and often include features like digital answering systems, caller ID share, and virtual multi-line operation. AT&T's cordless phones with connect to cell technology allow you to make and receive cellular calls with the ease of a home phone system. Some models also support text messaging and can link up to 2 cell phones. Motorola offers some home phone models that can be linked to your cell phone. These typically feature DECT 6.0 technology for clear, interference-free calls and are known for their robust build and reliability. Uniden sometimes includes a Bluetooth link to cell feature in their cordless phone systems, allowing seamless integration between your cell phone and your home handset. When choosing a cordless phone with link to cell technology, consider additional features such as the number of handsets included, the range of the handsets from the base station, battery life, and any extra features like call blocking or a built-in answering machine. These factors can greatly influence your satisfaction with the product.
Bill, you had a voice change there. Anyway, well done. Well done. I have the Panasonic one with the cellular connection, and as does Bill, and we can certainly talk about that in the Q&A. It works great. All right.
Pause it 1 minute, Mickey.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I had this for a while myself. I bought a small unit that plugged into my house phones. And then it connected to the cell phone, so I could pick up a cell phone call on any house phone and I used it for a couple of years, I think, and then I don't know, there was some glitch with it, and I just stopped using it. Haven't really missed it, I guess, but it is I guess it's still an option.
Yes, it is, and I've got some links to Amazon pages for a couple of Panasonics and a VTech and this other device here that is device independent. Oh, great.
Yeah.
And
We can talk about it afterwards.
trying to go to documents. Great. Let me see if oops, wrong thing. Let me see if the other links work. We could just here. Let me just right click on that. I'll have to fix that. All right. So this guy here, this box here, will allow you to plug your own existing
Yeah,
home phone into that and link to your cell phone. So it's a little bit cheaper option because it'll work with whatever you've got now.
distance.
Yes, but if you want to buy something new, then you can use some of the others. I've got links. They probably don't work either.
That's what I used for a while. It was a third-party add-on.
Oh, it was.
It worked with my house phones I
Okay.
had at the time.
So. yeah.
Cordless phone, what we call them.
All right, I'm gonna have to fix
Landline.
my fix my links, but
You'll
anyway.
fix his links after.
Oh, yeah, after that. All right, so ready for the next one?
Sure.
Any questions from anybody while we're waiting?
Yeah.
Okay, it's not. All right, okay. Keep on going.
Bob, you're going to talk about what is Magic Jack.
Specifically going to be talking about Magic Jack on your cell phone, or specifically your cell phone that you can't use anymore because you don't have a SIM card in that old cell phone.
I've used Magic Jack for many, many years for my home phone. It uses VoIP, voice over internet. It's always done an excellent job, but I now need some added extensions for my home. And instead of buying additional phones, there's a much easier way. Over the years, I've accumulated quite a few cell phones that I no longer use. They don't have a SIM card in them, but they still work. The only way they will work is over the internet. So let me set up one of those phones to use my Magic Jack, and it will work as an extension instead of having to buy a phone. Let me show you how to set that up. There's actually an app for Magic Jack that you can put on either your Android phone or an iPhone. In my case, it'll be on one of my old Android phones that I no longer use. This one, the phone, as you can see, is still perfectly fine. It just doesn't have a SIM card anymore. So I'll use this, and I'll go to the store, and I'll search for Magic Jack. There, it's what I'm looking for. This is the baby I want. I'll install it. Let's open it. I'm going to pause this while I sign in, and I'll be right back. Once you've signed in, you'll have to agree to the subscription agreement. Since this is a phone, and I already do it, of course I'm going to allow Magic Jack to access my contacts. And yes, they can manage my phone calls. Let's pick up the Magic Jack app and we'll put it onto the home screen. Now, if I want to make a phone call on that phone, that's it. I just start making a call. It'll have my phone book. The whole thing is here. And as long as I have internet access, there it is. This will also receive calls as they come in. So as I said, this will be an added extension that I can place wherever it's convenient. That's all it takes. Put that old phone to use. Don't just let it lay there and die. Hope that helps.
How does that work with
The
that?
nice thing is that Magic Jack is your home phone, because you can use it for 911 calls, because for a very small fee, you have 911 available, which means it uses your address. But if you leave town and you have it on your cell phone, because it only needs the internet, anybody who calls your home phone number assumes you're at home. They don't know that you may be in Europe someplace traveling. So you don't have to worry about somebody casing the joint by making a phone call to find out, oh, is he home or is he not? I'm at home. I'm just far away from home. And if somebody tells me, hey, there's a problem at the house, I can call 911 and they'll be located or be sent to my home, because that's associated with that phone number. The nice thing is, I don't pay a monthly fee. I pay a yearly fee. And if you were to go to Magic Jack's website right now, they have a special for Earth Day, $35 for an entire year's service. That includes the US, Canada, Mexico, and worldwide if it's Magic Jack to Magic Jack. If you don't yet know what Magic Jack's all about, take a look. They've come a long way. And that's it for me.
Bob, I just want to clarify that, in fact, I believe one of the big advantages I found with Magic Jack is the pool of phone numbers they have. In other words, you can usually get a local phone number for your area with the Magic Jack pool of numbers. You can also take your home phone number and port it over to Magic Jack as well, if you wanted to get rid of your home phone.
Right, which is what I did, because
Right.
I don't have one. The only thing that I still have from AT&T happened to be the phones that I was using, and they all work with Magic Jack. I have 6 phones that are all wirelessly linked, or linked through Magic Jack. It's
All right.
that simple.
Google Voice, the all-in-one.
All right, before we go there, we had a question?
She wanna know about the how, what number do you get to use?
Yeah, when you're using an old phone, which I had the same number on my phone, and it followed me with, a very
It's
new
the home-
phone.
Your old home line.
And my home line, so. When you take the old phone, how does it, I don't know how to put it. How
Well, you
does
have to
it
import it
call and
over.
stuff without another phone number?
All right, so what do you mean by old phone?
Well, like I got a bunch of old,
It used to be on the phone book.
Okay, old cell phones, all right. So
Cell
what,
phone?
what he's talking about is you put this app on your cell phone or on a computer or whatever. And, yes, you would need a phone number. You could either, port your old landline number over to Magic Jack. In other words, this needs a subscription, right? You're buying a subscription from Magic Jack. Once you have the subscription, you're gonna put the app on the cell phone. And then from the cell phone, you can tell it you want a new number, and that's what Ron was talking about. You got a whole nice big pile of numbers you can pick from. Or you can port your old landline phone number, assuming you haven't given it up yet, over to the Magic Jack service. So it depends on what you want to do, whether you want to get a new number or whether you want to port your old number over to one of these services, either Ooma or Magic Jack, or in this case, Google Voice, he's going to talk about next. Does
but
that,
it doesn't affect the phone I have that's new.
your
I mean,
cell phone?
My cell.
Your cell phone has a phone number that's associated with the SIM card that's in it.
Okay,
So he's talking about using an old phone that does not have a SIM card anymore because you don't have service for it.
okay,
And just using the app, and that works fine for that cell phone as long as it's connected to your Wi-Fi. Now, if you put that same app on your new cell phone, then anywhere where you have mobile data, which means you have internet on that new cell phone, the Magic Jack app will ring if somebody calls that old number, or your cell phone will also ring if somebody calls your existing cell phone number. Does that make sense?
yeah.
Okay, any questions from the home people or,
Nope.
okay.
So for a one-time fee of what, you said 35?
Well, no, it's not a
45?
one-time fee. You have to buy the device.
Or
and
a
then it's
year.
a year, yes, there
And
you
there's
go.
a yearly fee.
It's a yearly subscription to Magic Jack, and it's a good service. I don't have any problems with Magic Jack.
Is that the one you went to?
No, I went to Uma and I didn't even think about Magic Jack. I probably would have gone with Magic Jack if I'd have thought about it. I completely forgot about it, but it's a whole lot cheaper. Yeah, so anyway,
About Google Voice one other time and had a good discussion of it,
right, well. We'll keep-
but let's see what Huey summarizes it for.
Okay,
Communication solution. I'm Huey Poplock. I'm going to explore Google Voice, a powerful telephony service that aims to simplify your communication needs by providing a single phone number for all your devices and enhanced calling features. Google Voice is a telephony service developed by Google that gives you a unified US phone number for all of your calling devices, including smartphones, telephones, and computers. With this service, you can make and receive calls, send and receive text messages, and manage your voicemail all through the internet. It acts as a centralized hub for your communication needs. Google Voice offers several key features that enhance your calling experience. First, you can use your Google Voice number across multiple devices, ensuring seamless communication. Calls within the U.S. are completely free, and international calls are offered at competitive rates. Google Voice transcribes your voicemails into text, allowing you to read them quickly. Additionally, it includes spam filtering and call screening capabilities to help you avoid unwanted calls. The roots of Google Voice can be traced back to a company
called Grand Central, founded in 2007. Grand Central offered features like voicemail transcription and multiple phone number management. In 2009, Google acquired Grand Central and launched Google Voice based on its foundation. Initially, Google Voice was an invite-only service, and it was eventually made available to all Gmail users in the US, leading to a significant increase in its user base. Google Voice offers several benefits that make it a compelling choice for individuals and businesses alike. It allows you to consolidate multiple phone numbers into a single, unified number, simplifying your communication management. Additionally, it provides enhanced calling features like call forwarding, voicemail transcription, and call screening. Google Voice seamlessly integrates with other Google services like Gmail and Hangouts, further enhancing its functionality. Perhaps most importantly, it works across various devices, including mobile phones, desktops, and web browsers, ensuring that you are always connected. If you're looking for a comprehensive communication solution that simplifies your life, consider trying Google Voice today. Signing up is completely free, and you can start managing all your calls and text messages from a single phone number. With Google Voice, you'll experience seamless communication across your devices, making it easier than ever to stay connected with the people and businesses that matter most. Free consumer Google Voice is not available in Canada. However, the paid Google Voice for businesses with Google Workspace is available in Canada. When selecting your phone number, many cities no longer have available phone numbers. Try selecting by area code. You must pair the Google Voice number to a real number and have it to verify that number. To complete the verification, you type the code sent to the real phone. On the left is your info, then your voice messages. This shows the voicemail that you received, and at the bottom, you can listen to it. In the column on the right, you enter the number that you wish to call. Then you click on the blue phone button. You can forward voicemail messages to email, and there are many settings. In addition to using Google Voice for calls, texts, and voicemails, you can also read voicemail through transcripts in your inbox and search them like emails, personalize voicemail greetings, make international calls at low rates, get protection from spam calls and messages, block unwanted callers, and screen calls before you answer. Supported operating systems include Chrome OS, Mac OS, Microsoft Windows. Limited functionality may be available on other platforms, and there is an Android app and an iOS app. The supported web browsers include Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, Microsoft Edge, and Safari. Thank you. I'm Huey Poplock.
Thank you, Huey. That's good information. Thanks so much.
Maybe
Now we're going to have Jim Gould talk on.
Mickey uses Google Voice, and I know we had a good conversation on it last year, I guess it was, and I have an account set up, and you gotta go in and use it at least once every 6 months or something, or
I don't
it'll,
know.
because you're using yours, you don't get that message. And so I'll just call myself from my cell phone number, and then that refreshes me again. And one time I had a problem with my SIM card in my phone, and I couldn't call support because the cell phone wasn't working. So I went online on my laptop, and using Google Voice, I can make a phone call. I thought, oh, this is so cool. I'm, just using the microphone and everything, making a regular, they thought I was on a regular phone. And I tested,
A microphone?
well, just.
It uses,
My
yeah,
laptop.
yeah, your laptop usually has a camera and a microphone. On my desktop at home, I have a camera just like this one here it's a webcam that I've got attached to my monitor. And I make calls from there, home from my desktop, because it doesn't have anything built in.
So I called my children and said, oh, how does my call seem? Does it, yeah, whatever, yeah. It's just like a usual call. And then I'd say, call me on it. Well, I wanted to learn another number. So, I have to put it to a lot of use. Another use for it is I do a volunteer, project and give my phone number for texting usually to the client, and for privacy reasons, they suggest you use a Google Voice number. And then you've got a level of a separation between you and your private life. And I don't always do that, but I could if I know it would work if I wanted to use it. So you're offering access to your communication, but with a separation between you and your usual way of calling. And I like the way that if somebody leaves a voicemail on it, it's a text, it's written out. But you know, you're listening to the voicemail and, oh, I need a phone number, giving me a phone, you know. They're giving me a phone number, I need a pencil, yada, yada, but all the calls come through as transcribed. So that's another advantage. But it's something to explore as a backup to your other phone communication choices.
Right, and another thing, I don't know, I think you mentioned, if you've got a landline now, and you're thinking about ditching it, you can have that number ported over to, Google Voice. So.
Yeah, because one thing when you're choosing a phone number, like it says, if you're signing up and they'll say, you know, show me what's available in 440, and pick a number, otherwise, I don't answer, I try not to answer a lot of numbers that come that I don't know.
I don't answer them either.
On my phone, and so that could eliminate some of the calls I want to make using that. So I like to at least have a 440 number and the prefix look like it's nearby. But so do the scammers. They get those numbers too and use them, so you're still not eliminating. Anyway, that's another use for it.
All right. All right, next one.
And now Jim and Chris, of course, travel so much, and they've talked extensively about traveling and using their phone. I thought it would be natural for Jim to talk on travel and saying can you travel with your home phone? Jim, what have you got for us?
That sounds good then. Let's get this thing on the road. Do you need a landline phone? For us, it was really all about connectivity. You know, we gave up our landline phone in 2003 when we went full-time in an RV. And we kept that line. Had we kept that line, we would really need a long one. It would get tangled. It would probably snap somewhere along the line. It just would not be convenient. Our internet access when we went full-time was through a DSL line. So Ron talked about that earlier. We needed to adjust something. We needed to go wireless. It was something that, you know, everybody was talking about, but nobody was doing it. So yeah, you can't get used to the wireless technology until it's in there. We went to an RV park called Paradise Island, and I helped set up the Wi-Fi in the RV park. It didn't work all that great. But it did work. You know, with cell phones, you need connectivity. If you don't have a good connection, you are out of business. So connectivity for data is really what it all was for us. I don't know anyone who answers their landline phone anymore, and most of them have them unplugged, don't they? And does your phone even work? Does it have batteries? Those home phones, those wireless, you know, when was the last time you tested it? And think of a natural disaster. Chances of a wireless network being repaired are a lot better than running wires after an emergency. Google Fi is our solution for all of that. And that's where we went. I've been doing this a long time. Yeah, Google Fi is really the one that, whoops, sorry. That's the one. Okay, Google Fi automatically connects users to over 1 million free Wi-Fi hotspots. It uses the T-Mobile network. It uses Wi-Fi to make calls, so that voice over IP thing, that works. And the other things that are happening there. Oh, a little bit of history. The service was launched for the Nexus 6 by invitation only. I got one on April 22nd. Happy birthday in 2015. So it's been around for that long now. It was open to the public in March 7th of 2016. Like I said, it uses T-Mobile to do the connectivity, and it's good all over the place. This QR code over here gives you information about all of the plans that you can get. There are 3 plans. It's only available to US residents, though. It's important to know that. So the 3 plans are really good. There's a flexible prepay for unlimited calls and texts. It adapts to your data usage, and you won't have to pay for data that you don't use. You get free calls in the US and Canada and Mexico, and affordable calls from the rest of from the states to other destinations. It's good for low data users. And so people who use their phone more than they use the data, or they have another data plan or something like that, this would be a good plan for you. But the data speed is slowed to 256 after 15 gigs of use. Now you can have up to 6 people on a membership, on a group plan. We have 3, my son, Chris, and myself. And then I have another device that has data only plan. I get my phone through that whole system too. I'm using Google Fi, and I'm using the, what's the other thing? Google Voice. Yeah, Google Voice. So when I got Google Voice, even before I got this, it's just moved right on in. So if you can tether this plan, an unlimited plan, simply unlimited, includes unlimited data, calls, and texts, the most affordable plan if you use a lot of data. And if you're only staying in the United States, it's probably okay for you, or traveling through Canada and Mexico if you're a US resident. So if you don't use your phone as a hotspot for your other devices, you'd be fine. And then the plan that we have, the unlimited plan, Unlimited Plus plan. With the Unlimited Plus plan, you get unlimited data, calls, and texts. If you frequently travel internationally, as we do, or use your phone as a hotspot, as we do when we're traveling, I recommend the Unlimited Plus plan. So with that, you get unlimited domestic calls and texts, unlimited texts to other countries, and affordable calls to all the other countries. It's like 10 cents a minute. Calls and texts within the US and Canada and Mexico are free, and you'll be able to use your data and text at no additional cost in over 200 countries. It's the plan to have. So check it out. Over here, you have your QR code that'll take you to Google's website with all the information about the Google Fi plans. Thanks for listening.
Now, if you got the new system. All right. Thanks, Jim. Yeah. Thanks, Jim. Yes, excellent. Google Fi, of course, I had that as well when I was living in Arizona. It's truly a great plan. All right. I'm going to finish off now with the final segment here. Let me share my screen. All right. I want to thank all the participants today. This has been a great show. This is episode 211 and will be aired on April the 22nd. So if you're watching a small part of this and you want to go back to the original show, just look on our Tech for Senior YouTube channel and you'll find that. Now, there are two common questions that we get asked all the time. Which would be better in a natural disaster, mobile or a home phone? The second question we always get asked is which would be better if you had to call 911? Would it be mobile or would it be a home phone? Well, let's have a look at that today as I summarize up our meeting. Now, I'll address the 911 calling feature first. Now, as you remember from the presentation I gave earlier, that the old POT system, the fiber optic system, and a cable system are all tied to a service address. So there's a physical address tied to those accounts which automatically enables 911 calling. No difference among those three. Where things get a little bit different is other VoIP services such as MagicJack. Since these services are not tied to a physical address, this can be a really big problem with 911 calling. Now, to get around this problem, MagicJack has a separate company they deal with that you can register your physical address with and use 911 calling. Now, the 911 calling will be sent to your registered address that you have on file with the MagicJack emergency services. MagicJack is great for snowbirds. I used to take my MagicJack from British Columbia down to Arizona and move it back and forth, and it works great. It's great for traveling. Lots of big advantages with MagicJack, but of course, nobody really knows where you are because it's just going over the internet. So if you are planning on using MagicJack, you are a snowbird and you are moving from one location to another, if you want 911 calling, it is very important that you re-register and update the service address for 911 calling. And this is true on all other VoIP systems. Now with mobile calling on a cell phone, it's a lot different because your location is easily available through what we call triangulation among cell towers, and this allows the emergency services to know your location even if you're traveling. All right, let's address the issue. What would be better, a landline or a home phone in a natural disaster versus a cell phone? Well, that's a very interesting question. As you know, when we talk about home phones, we talk about either fiber, cable, or old POTS lines. These actually have physical cables, whether it's fiber or copper, running on telephone poles and telephone lines, which of course, if get burnt down or disrupted in an earthquake, would make the service unavailable. Many of you have asked the question, what about when the power goes out? Will I have phone if I'm using fiber or cable? The answer to that is yes, your phone will work just fine in a power outage. The fiber transmission lines are all backed up with UPS services on the poles and at distribution centers. So the only issue that you would need to make sure is that the powered connection in your house, in other words, either that cable, remember that cable box I showed you, which you can put your R15 jack into, that would need to be powered by UPS. The same would occur with the fiber. In my case, I showed you that fiber router. That would need to be backed up on a UPS. And as long as there's power to that device, no problem getting phone calls with a power outage. But cell towers have their own UPS backup inside them as well, and they're often strategically located in different areas and a lot more of them. So your chances in a national disaster would probably be better with a cell phone. Also, I want to draw your attention to the recent eclipse and all the million people that flocked to Niagara Falls. What was interesting to watch on TV was all the portable cell phone towers they brought in so people would have cell phone service. So we do even have portable cell phone towers in places of national disaster that can be set up and used. So you have to look at that as well. Maybe it is better in a national disaster to have a cell phone rather than a landline. All right, in closing, I have one final point I'd like to make. Many of you have had a home phone number forever. You've got it, you maybe had it for 50 years. And it used to be that you could not transfer a landline or a home phone number to a cell phone number. Well, that is not the case anymore. So if you are thinking about what you're going to do when the POTS system goes away and you're looking at what type of phone system you're going to use, but you really didn't want to move to a cell phone because you'd have to change your number, well, that is not the case. You now can move your home phone number, your old number, to your new cell phone if you wish. I'm Ron Brown from Tech for Senior. Hopefully you've enjoyed this episode of Tech for Senior, and we've helped to address some of the issues on should you or should you not have a home phone. All right, now Ray, are you ready to roll? Just if you are over.
Good, it should be the last of it.
And then they go on and do a little music segment.
Yeah.
So another thing I thought of when I know somebody who was wanting to change, drop their home phone. But their concern was that all their doctors and people they needed to be in touch with had their home phone number. And he relied on their calls saying, remember, you have a doctor's appointment next week. That was his calendar. So he said, I won't get those phone calls to tell me when my doctor's appointments are. And I said, well, start giving the cell phone number, you know, I wouldn't sit down and call them all, but anyway, he did miss one appointment when he dropped his landline and had to pay the fee. They stuck him with the cost of the visit as they threatened to, but that was the only one, so.
He didn't want to port his number over, huh?
Yeah, that was anyway. But that's another caution, if you are giving up a landline that you rely on for communication with official people, you'll want to start notifying them to change your number. Unless you port over your number, like we said. Any other questions? No, and like I said, these are on our club webpage. And if you ever think, well, I'd like to explore this or that option, come back and watch it again. I know I do. If I want to try a new app or something, I'll say, now what was the explanation for the app? Let me go back and watch it again. So take advantage of that.
Do they take them down after?
No, we leave ours up and they link to, except the ones we got kind of set up wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes the original source might give up that page or something, but to our best of our knowledge, because these go back for several years, don't they?
Oh,
Kate?
yeah.
Our list, these are things we've talked about at different meetings. And they go back several years. So sometimes they're linking to something that might go away, but. And you can always go to YouTube and download. Right? Oh no, you have to be a premium member, I think, to download. Unless you use a third-party service.
Right, I use third-party software.
Another subject for another day. So I don't know if this gave anybody insight on what they'd like to do.
That was very helpful. That
Was
was
it helpful?
very, very good.
Okay, since you haven't had a landline anyway, have you?
Well,
Don?
yeah, Don has. He was using his landline almost exclusively.
But I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
lately,
Oh, no, not since
they took it
January.
away, there was, but we're telling him he should sue them.
Yeah,
Recover the cost of his damages for not having they can't seem to fix it.
yeah, maybe get a Magic Jack, Don, that might be the best thing. And have your phone number ported over, and that way you'll have your old phone number again.
Did your doctors and so on have your new number, your cell phone number?
Yes, right. I've converted everybody over to my cell phone.
Okay,
Okay.
that you had to plan for that, yeah.
Yeah,
Good.
but I would like to have my portable phones hooked
Right.
up to my cell phone.
Yeah, that's nice. So
This-
you can either do the problem with you, Don, is though that aren't you limited in your number of minutes since you use the track phone?
I'm
Is your
sorry,
cell phone- Does your cell phone have limited minutes?
no. Well, I have so many minutes, more so than what I use.
Oh, you've got plenty though.
Okay.
Yeah. Right.
All
Okay,
right.
cause yeah, he doesn't have a real expensive plan for his,
Well, he pays by the year, but it's still, I thought only gives you like 1,000 minutes or something like that. I can't remember.
What
okay.
they add up after 12 years.
Oh, they can accumulate. I didn't know.
Are they continuing to accumulate?
Yeah, that's good. Okay.
Wow,
Right. Yeah.
some might only accumulate for a year or
Yeah,
something.
Sam was
Yeah.
just- he
I had
knows-
something like 12,000 minutes.
Okay, that makes sense. I know that
Good deal.
you didn't typically use you're kind of like me. I turn my cell phone on when I leave the house, and when I get home, I turn it off. So I use my home phone exclusively. It's just easier on my ears and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly. I use my home phone
So
most of the time,
Oh, yeah.
unless somebody calls me on my cell.
Well, I've given mine up a number of years ago and I don't miss it.
I give both
And you can
numbers.
talk on your, what do you call it? Speakerphone. Speakerphone.
yeah, right.
Oh,
Well, I also use a speakerphone on my landlines too. So
well,
I like talking on my landline phone,
yeah, it's easier.
except when I talk to my sister-in-law and she don't know how to shut up.
well, I had somebody I was talking to and they would call and talk to me for like 2 hours. And I thought I was doing them a favor to listen. So I just put my phone on speakerphone and set it there and went about doing whatever I was doing. Oh, yeah, okay, that's interesting. But it worked.
So, yeah, if you want to keep again, this device here will allow you to keep your, people aren't seeing this because I'm not sharing, so let me go back to here, share that again.
Yes, and I had a similar device.
Yeah,
I don't
this
even
guy
remember what it
here
was
allows
called.
you to do if you just want to keep your cell phone or whatever, or port your number, you could always port your number to your cell phone or even a Google Voice number. And then use this to use your existing handsets at home, and still have it go to the cell phone.
I have to add that I have a friend that I used to work with, who's retired now. And he is excellent in local history resources and can research and do all of, the internet things. He does email and he does, Facebook. But his phone is literally a dial landline phone.
Hmm.
I mean, they showed a picture in the one, in the one PowerPoint we just watched, where you literally
Dial the phone.
dial with your, they joked that young people wouldn't even know what it was.
They don't know what that is.
Yeah, he said, that is his phone and he has no cell phone. I said, you need one at least for emergencies, a flip phone or something. So he's an anomaly,
I'll say.
but he has a dial phone and is proud of it. I think we all remember our phone was mounted on the wall at home when I was growing up. In the kitchen.
Right.
And the treat was to have a long cord on it.
Yeah, we had long cords.
But only one in the house and,
We used to have one upstairs and one downstairs.
we didn't have.
Now I have one in the basement, one in the kitchen, one in the dining room, one in the living room, and one upstairs.
It's nice to have options.
Purse. Yeah, and one in my purse.
Yeah.
Well, listen, guys, I gotta go.
Yeah,
All right, any questions from the
any questions or
folks
any,
at home?
even if it's not on the subject for today, anybody have something they wanna ask about?
Nice.
Ian, is that you?
I think your program was very educational. I'm a kind of a creature of habit right now, kind of locked in, but we're in a condo association where the wiring and all that is already established and fixed. We use the landline because of the answering machine. We had, my wife and I each have our own cell phones. And the answering machine serves as a filter for the
Spam,
scam calls.
right.
If the calls come in and they don't, not recognizable, they don't leave a message. Ones that are valid, leave a message.
Right.
It's kind of our filter, but if Brightspeed, who provides a service here, if they start to fail or change the business, we have our internet through Brightspeed along with the landline, and if that changes, we're always offered from Spectrum to go to internet there, and I've avoided that so far. I keep them separated, so we're kind of a creature of a habit,
Yeah, a lot of people are.
but something like our granddaughter, this is very useful information. It's educational for us to understand, but I think unless things fail, we stay where we're at.
One thing you might want to consider, Joe, is instead of going with Spectrum, if you switch from Brightspeed, is to pick one of the 5G home internet services. Back in January of 24, you can see on the screen here, we did the presentation on those. T-Mobile, AT&T, and Verizon all offer 5G, which is wireless, to give you internet access. And then you could go with maybe a Magic Jack and hook it up to your existing phone service or something like that. Your existing handsets, and use your voicemail that way. And also Magic Jack has its own voicemail also. But any of these services, the most expensive service there is like $60 a month for internet on these 5G services. Whereas if you go with Spectrum, you probably are going to have a higher cost. But anyway, something to investigate.
Yeah, that's right. There's a whole collection of ideas there that help me interpret as to where the potential lies. Right now, I'm I guess I'm beyond the age of experimenting unless it's really necessary.
That's something that works, so.
Right, but if you were to use.
But it's a place where I can understand where the options are.
Yeah,
That was terrific.
and then call Mickey if you, if you have to change.
Like you mentioned, everybody has your telephone number, and there's a lot of people have the telephone number that are not of interest to us, and the answering machine kind of filters that out somewhat.
It's them that way.
Right, right.
Now, people are starting to come in on the cell phone number too.
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
I don't know how in the world they get. There's a directory out there someplace, and everybody's got it. So,
yeah.
Yeah, it's all computerized, and artificial intelligence, I think, will make it worse. I was working with the insurance company on a claim, and they I was wondering why I didn't hear from them. And then finally I got an email that said, we want to get in touch with you, please call us about this. And so I did, and he said, well, we've been trying to call you. And I says, well, if you're an out of the area number, I don't answer. Well, we left a voicemail. Well, now I gotta admit, I don't always listen to my voicemails.
Well, that's your problem.
I know.
Yeah, that's the issue.
My family and everything, you would use a text.
Yeah.
Except when they're calling me.
I still listen to voicemails.
I'll call you back. Okay. But yeah, there's a lot of variation, things you might run into.
Mhm.
And the young people are growing up in a total different mindset than what we people our age have, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. And by the time they're our age, they'll be struggling to keep up with whatever's going on in the world, so.
You're right.
Who knows by then?
Mhm.
We'll have robots calling for us and answering our calls.
Right, nobody.
Just talk in the air and say, my number is.
Absolutely. Well, I can pick up calls on if I had it on my smartphone.
Yeah.
It's not my preferred way of doing it, but
All right, about to end the video if everybody's.
okay, so next month we'll talk about some of the options for streaming services and any questions you can think of ahead of time that we could look at for you.
Is that gonna focus on the different streaming, the different offerings, and which ones cover the preferred lineup that
Yeah, we're gonna try to.
they haven't cut the cord yet. They haven't cut the
On your
cord
cable,
yet.
yeah. You
But
know, the tricky part is if you like sports, if you want to watch sports, that puts a whole. That makes it more expensive because the sports isn't centralized. On what to be signed up for to get your favorite sports, so.
Right.
If you're not a sports person, it gets a little easier.
Well, this is not public yet, but this is information that I'm gonna be presenting, or at least have available.
Yeah.
For next month. We'll have the Clark Streaming TV channel tool, which is a really good utility to help you find the proper streaming service to go to. So if you like, say you like Discovery or whatever, and then you like I don't know, history. All right, so we put those in, and you create a list here, and so far it's having a list of the services that will support the channels that you like, starting with the lowest price. So if those were the only ones you couldn't live without, then you could get by with Philo for $25 a month, and then the cost of your internet service. So this is a really good tool to use to keep on building your list of must-have channels.
There's another one that kind of does that, but I can't think what it's called. So
It might be this one here. I guess I didn't put local now.
well, it'll show up this week.
I forget. I think I know which one you want, but it wasn't
As good as
as
this
nice
one.
as this.
Okay. And another thing people want is a lot of people want their local channels. I call them 3, 5, and 8.
Yeah, and that's
And that's
tough.
harder to get
It is.
without an antenna.
Exactly.
And that adds more layer onto what service you're gonna have.
And that layer usually means cost. So if you can get by without news, live news and a lot of these will do like Fox News or NBC News or ABC News. And that's fine, but it may not be your local station. But then that's costly. But if you want to have, Cleveland News or something like that, it might be, or yeah, I guess it's going to be maybe a little bit more pricey to.
Yeah, so that it kind of gets
Yeah.
more involved to explain when you've got all these,
Right.
if you just want a streaming service that gives you Discovery, that's one thing, but But I also want my local channels, I also want the
Yeah.
DVR, I also want. Anyway, we're gonna try to present the options and give you a list of links again next month.
Okay,
All right.
Very good program. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank me and Sandy for your end of meeting done, and then we'll
Yeah,
shut it down.
do we want to,
We already did.
oh, okay, thank you.
Okay, done.
So, next month, I hope everybody can join us again.
All righty.
Thank you.
See you next month.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.